Now you know how the J-hook works. After watching lesson 4 in this series, we'll look at how the lift lever works in conjunction with the J-hook. This Ansonia movement has been set up properly so that it will strike in the correct sequence, and I'm going to show you how I set that up, because if you don't understand this, then you'll never get an American clock like this, a kitchen clock, to work. It just won't happen. So the 3 things that we must have set up properly for an American clock movement to work. First up, that's the top of the count wheel. The count lever must be resting in a deep slot like so. This is the maintenance cam, slightly out of whack, but that's a maintenance cam. The maintenance cam lever must sit in that deep slot there, and then up here on the warning wheel with that pin, the 3rd lever must rest like that against the warning pin. And when those 3 things are set up correctly, this is the motion works here with the Minute Arbor in it. It's got a couple of pins on the bottom. As the Minute Arbor turns, that's our J-hook coming up and resting there. As the Minute Arbor turns, the J-hook lifts in that direction, and the activating lever on the lift lever here, which rests on the J-hook, starts to lift. And as it starts to lift, the lift lever starts to move out of a deep slot down here. The maintenance cam lever starts to move out of the deep slot there, and the warning wheel lever there rises above that pin. Consequently, the warning wheel then starts to spin, and it spins 1/2 to 3/4 of a revolution while it's waiting for these other 2 levers to lift out completely. So just before the movement starts to strike, the count lever is positioned up here and it's completely out of the deep slot. The maintenance cam lever is in a position up here, and it's resting on this round piece of the maintenance cam there, and the warning wheel lever up here is not touching that pin. It's nowhere near that pin. As this pin down here turns, the J-hook finally falls off, and because the maintenance cam arm is resting on that smooth part of the cam there, the power from the spring starts to spin all these wheels round, and that lever rests on the top and just keeps continuing running round there. It doesn't fall into a deep slot until such times as the count lever falls back into a deep slot again. Once that happens, at the same time, the maintenance cam lever falls into a deep slot there, and the warning wheel lever arrests that pin there, which stops the warning wheel turning. So those 3 things there are go or stop in relation to an American clock striking. And the key to it all is the pin, 1 or 2 pins on the bottom of the Minute Arbor that turn round and lift the J-hook. So when you're putting the movement together again, make sure that the J-hook is set up correctly. Don't put it on this side over here, because it's not going to happen. That arm there will not reach the J-hook over here. It has to be on that side, and then as the pin raises the J-hook, that arm comes into play, lifts up, then these 3 situations come into play and the clock starts striking. And the pin there on the maintenance cam, and the long arm, bit out of proportion here, but the long arm from the hammer lever down here and this little wire putting some positive pressure on it. As the maintenance cam spins round, those 2 pins push down on the hammer lever, which then moves the hammer lever in that direction, and as that lever there falls off, the hammer strikes the coil gong, which is down here, and that little piece of wire there, a little piece of 24 gauge wire, which puts a little bit of positive pressure on the hammer lever, returns it back to its position over here, waiting for the next pin to come round and push it up so that it strikes again. And that happens every time until the count lever drops into a deep slot. Watch what happens when I turn the Minute Arbor here. Down the bottom of the Minute Arbor, that pin that's resting on the J-hook lifts the J-hook very slowly. This lever is in a deep slot in the maintenance cam, and that lever down there is resting on the pin on the warning wheel. Now, as I slowly turn the winding arbor, the J-hook is being lifted up on the pin down there on the bottom of the Minute Arbor, and this lever here that's in a deep slot in the maintenance cam is lifted clear, as you can see. And at this point in time, the movement is in warning. It's waiting to start striking. And then as soon as the J-hook drops off that pin, the spring transfers its power up through those wheels and the maintenance cam starts to turn. It's just sitting here at the moment because there's no spring on there, but it starts to turn, and that lever there then falls on that piece of the maintenance cam there and continues to run round until such times as the count lever drops into a deep slot somewhere on the count wheel. So that's what happens. So we'll have a look initially and see what we've got here, and then I'll explain how I set it up. Looking for a number 6 key. We've already seen the J-hook lifting the lever up inside, and if you watch here you'll see the count lever raising up out of a deep slot. If that had a spring under it, that lever would continue moving and running along the top of the count wheel, but it hasn't got any power on it, so it can't do that. However, I'm going to show you now what it looks like when it does work. I'll put a number 6 key on and I'll change the angle a bit to make it a bit easier to see. And we're looking at the count lever there. So I'll hold the movement, I'll flick the count lever up and then start the movement turning. And you watch the count lever, it's dropping into the slots, then it drops into a deep slot, and that stops the mechanism. Right, we'll do that. That was for an hour, 3 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. This is for the half hour. I'll lift the count lever up again, get it started. That was a half an hour. Now the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Take the key off it and you can see that each time the count lever, being that piece there that runs across there with the bend, that bend there is so that it fits underneath the maintenance cam, and then it comes round here. Initially this flat part here on the count lever was actually leaning back a little bit in this direction. I'll show you that. I'll put it back where it was and then get it started again, and then as we turn the key you'll see the movement is working correctly. The count lever's clicking up and down, but what happens? It hasn't dropped into a deep slot and the movement keeps running. The problem with that, and I'll take a close-up photo of that, what's happening there is the blade on the count lever cannot drop into those slots simply because the blade here is bent back in that direction. So what we've got to do is very gently bend it forward, not very much, just a tiny little bit. Then we'll test it again, put our key back on and turn the key and we'll see what happens. You can see now, start it off again. It's counting its way round on the count wheel. And you can see this time it has dropped into a deep slot and the movement has stopped. That was simply because the blade there was bent back a little bit, and all the blade was doing was just touching on the top of each one of these teeth. it kept hitting on there, so it couldn't drop into a deep slot. It hit there, and as the wheel turned, it then hit that one, and then it hit that one, and kept going. Right, I'll take the minute hand off here. We don't want to risk damaging that. And you remember I said earlier on when we were taking this to pieces, always check the count wheel when you take it off, see which direction it turns. You can easily put it on upside down. It's running here from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's obviously running in the correct direction, but if you put the count wheel in upside down, it'll still fit in. The little clip will clip on it, even though the hole is a dent in one side. You can still set it up if you don't know what you're doing and try to run the clock backwards, and it doesn't like that particularly. All right, you'll notice also that the hammer was moving before, and the hammer is very easy to set up. It always goes down here between the two main wheels. It has a spring on it, not much, just a little bit, to give it a little bit of positive pressure. Flip that down over there. And then the large lever, this one here that's attached to the hammer, goes all the way up to the maintenance cam, sits there just on the side of it. And those two pins, one there and one on the other side, are what activate the hammer when the maintenance cam turns, and the hammer, which is held over there, as the maintenance cam turns, it pushes down and then it flicks back, and that's how it strikes. You can see that spring that sits on the hammer there provides a little bit of positive pressure to return it each time the hammer strikes the coiled gong rod. Alright, when we're setting up the lift lever, we always make sure that the count lever, this one here, sits in a deep slot. There are 3 things that you must have set up on an American clock movement if you want it to work correctly. The first one is the count lever, and we saw that working before. That must be in a deep slot. It doesn't matter which one, any one will do. You don't want it bouncing around on the top of the small ones. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can hold that in place while you're setting up the rest of the movement. You can use a bit of masking tape and just push it across like so. Tighten it a little bit around there, and that will hold the lever in place so that it doesn't move out when you're adjusting the other parts and start moving around on small slots as opposed to deep slots. The other thing you can do is use a piece of Rodico. Pull a little bit of that off, roll it into a ball, and then push it down. Obviously you won't have a piece of tape on it. Push it down over the count wheel and the count lever and push it down, and that'll hold it in place. Alright, we'll use a piece of tape because that's what I've got on there. So that is now held in its correct position. Now, when you're setting up an American movement like this, you normally do not put the warning wheel or the fly in because they have to be adjusted relative to the maintenance cam. So you normally have the great wheel, obviously you have the spring underneath it, the first wheel, then the maintenance cam, and you get those aligned. And how you align the maintenance cam, and I'll take close-up photos of these and post them so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, because it's not particularly very easy in there. But the second lever on the lift lever is the one that falls into a deep slot in the maintenance cam. So the first thing is we've got the count lever in a deep slot on the count wheel. We've got the second lever in a deep slot. Well, there's only 2 of them actually, so anyway, it's still a deep slot. In a deep slot in the maintenance cam, and the third lever on the lift lever, this one here, is the one that arrests the pin on the warning wheel. It's not going to work if it's round here or round here or round here somewhere. So having set up the count wheel and the count lever, and then the second lever in a deep slot on the maintenance cam. You hold all those nice and tightly and then open the plates a little bit and then put in the warning wheel. You already know because you've had a look to see where the pin is, and then you adjust it a tooth at a time, up and down with the plates open a tiny little bit, held with your fingers, and you just adjust it a tooth at a time until that pin there comes to rest on the third lever there. And then once you've done that, you then put the fly in. The fly's the last piece to go in every time. And then it's time to test and see whether you've got it set up properly. I'll take the piece of tape off, get our key again, though you would normally have the power of the spring underneath there, but you would do this anyway. So you'd flick the lift lever up and let the movement run round. And the count lever will drop into a deep slot and everything will stop. You can try to spin it, nothing happens. Alright, we'll run that round again. We always test a couple of times to make sure we're right. Lift the lift lever and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Fallen into a deep slot and everything in there is in position. You can spin the warning wheel. That's not a problem because the pin there is arrested by that wheel and that's where it stops. The second lever has dropped into a deep slot on the maintenance cam, so that is then the end of that. And that's how you set it up. It's rather easy. People tend to have a lot of problems with it, but once you've done it a few times and got it to work, it's an easy situation. It flows rather easily. So what I'll do now is I'll take the movement apart a little bit at a time and take close-up photos of each of those three areas: the count wheel, the maintenance cam and the warning wheel, and show you where the levers are when the movement comes to rest, when it stops striking. And that's how you set up the lift lever and the J hook in an American clock movement so that it actually works.